Focus are a Dutch band who were formed in 1969 in Amsterdam and are centred around Thijs van Leer, who plays keyboards and flute and also provides vocals. They have gone through many lineup changes through the years. They have been well received and sold a good number of records, and they released their 16th studio album in 2021. Hi, my name's Dan. So this is a request review. It was requested by my son, who is nameless because I won't give out names on this public forum. He was introduced to the first song on this album, Hocus Pocus, by someone he knew. They were travelling in a car, and this song came on, and he was quite impressed by it and came and told me, I heard this song and it went like this, and kind of did an impression of it, and I said, yes, I know exactly what that is. It's Hocus Pocus by Focus. So he said, well, could you do a review of it? And I said, well, I could do a review of the album that includes it, so I am doing. Here we are. Normally on this channel, most of the videos I do are actually reviews of a huge list of albums that can be found at acclaimedmusic.com, which is an amalgamated list from various sources, and they have produced a list of the 3,000 greatest albums of all time, according to their amalgamation algorithm. And so most of my reviews I'm working my way up from 3,000 up to 1. I hope I get there. But occasionally I step out of that and do request reviews. I've got a few other things that I do, some things that I just feel like throwing in, some new releases, and so on. If you want to request a review, all you need to do is to leave a comment on any of my videos, and hopefully I'll see it and I'll add it to my list. I'm not 100% guaranteeing I'll review everything that is requested, but I haven't got a very big pile at the moment, so if you want to request something, please just drop me a comment. Right, let's get into this album then. So, this album goes by two names. So I believe its Dutch name is Focus 2, but its international name was Moving Waves. And it starts with that song that we mentioned, which I probably will have a little bit playing at the very start of this video, if I can get away with it, with the copyright detection stuff that goes on. And this is an iconic song. Actually, there's very iconic because I don't think there's anything else that I've ever heard that's quite like it. It mixes kind of rock guitar riffs, flute, in a kind of some of it's kind of breathy flute in a sort of Jethro Tull kind of way, some crazy scat singing and yodeling. Quite bizarre yodeling. And when you say that, when I do that description, you kind of think, how on earth can that possibly work? And I guess the question is, you just have to go for it in a real kind of brashy way. And it's a great song. The rest of the album is very different to that song. So it was added to the album, apparently, late on, to make the album have more rock in it, and particularly to add humour, and it certainly does both of those things. The rest, I would say, is more, I don't say standard prog rock, but standard's not the right word for it because there are so many different flavours of prog rock and such variety within it. It feels quite Canterbury scene prog rock, which is kind of quite mellow. It's verging on classical at times, and I think it's entirely instrumental. I might be wrong in saying that. I might have missed a couple of bits here and there. It's certainly mostly instrumental. So the second track, for example, Le Clochard, is just classical guitar and a mellotron. So a mellotron was still is, an instrument which has taped sounds. You press the keys down and it plays these tapes, and it's a bit like an analog sampler, if you like. And they were used heavily in the late 60s, early 70s to get kind of backing sounds. There were particular banks you could get. The most popular one was strings, and this is using the strings. And it was, although it was a hugely expensive instrument, it was still cheaper than hiring string sections. Anyway, it gives quite a distinctive sound, and that track's quite beautiful. The other one I want to pick out is the whole of side 2 of this album is a track called Eruption, which is a 22-minute long prog rock thing that keeps changing. It's one of those long, sweet things, as in, musical SUITE, sweet. I think it's 14 sections in it. And apparently it's a loose rock adaptation of the tale of Orpheus and Eurydice. I have no idea how you pronounce that. From the opera Eurydice by the Italian composer Jacopo Peri. Okay. Loads of pronunciation for me to get wrong there. So what do I think of the album? Well, I like Hocus Pocus. I think it's a great track. I like the rest of the album, but it's very different. The rest of the track reminded me, if I'm going to reference another band, of Camel, who had a very similar kind of mellow, gentle feel to the stuff that they did. It's almost like it doesn't belong to the same album. In fact, it is pretty kind of obviously different from the rest of the album. So it doesn't quite have the same bite. I think the best tracks are the first 2 that I've highlighted here. But I do quite enjoy it. So that's what I think. And as always, I want to invite you to tell me what you think. So please talk to me through the comments box. That's it from me for now.